And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Epic Land. We're into our final match of the day, our final match of the overall bracket, for the most part. Grand finals notwithstanding tomorrow. We are into the lower bracket. We have our final match to decide who is going to be joining the likes of Rix in the grand finals itself. I'm the Eternal Jay. I'm joined by the one and only Hannah. Man, great to see you again. And I hope you had a great time in the break, having dinner, having Lando's, having ice cream. Having, you had a chocolate cake, didn't you, actually?
I had Lando's, and I had one of their... It was far too rich, but...
You
chicken burger was great.
You missed out. The cookie dough ice cream they're serving outside the venue right now is just
I don't think I could fit it in, Jay. I wish I could, but I don't think I have space.
I feel like I couldn't fit it in anyway, but here I am, down one cookie dough ice cream, 2 pieces of chicken, chips, and a garlic bread, destroying my calorie intake for the day.
For the weekend, to be honest.
For the weekend. Well, do you know what I can't get enough of, and certainly would be healthy
What's
to
that,
keep going?
Jay?
It's Valorant.
Oh my,
it's
Valorant?
Esports, and particularly, again, our lower bracket finals, which will decide who will be going forward to those grand finals themselves. We do have the Jokers taking on Gladius as our matchup for today's proceedings. Of course, Gladius, the team that came through over on that upper bracket match from the upper bracket finals against Rix a little bit earlier on this evening. And as a result, they kind of are favourites by default. But again, we're talking about 4th seed versus 3rd seed here. And we're talking about some incredibly close action and a very close to call match to be looking at today.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage of the competition, sure, they've come in from the upper bracket. They are expected favourites. But I wouldn't shake my head at Jokers either. They are a very, very strong team. They managed to beat everyone else in the lower bracket. This is including CSGG, including Temperate, wasn't it, as well? Did they just beat Temperate? So
including Temperate, right? Like, that's the reason why I'm sort of saying don't sleep on the Jokers, right? On paper, it does feel like Gladius will be the favourite team, but in terms of what we've actually seen in server in this bracket so far, you've got to make an argument for the Jokers here, because we said we probably could be seeing in that upper bracket semi-final the matchup between Rix and Temperate be played out in the grand finals as well. We won't see that because Temperate got beat by the Jokers, and that is a result that you have to count for something. And
we saw, I believe it was Temperate Rix early, didn't we? And that was a very, very tight series, with game 1 being almost anyone's game. Game 2 then falling very hardly on the side of Temperate, and then game 3 falling to Rix pretty convincingly, I think we wanted to say. So if these teams here have managed to get even further than Temperate did, either of them could put up a really good fight tomorrow against Rix, and really it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top tonight, because of course this is the last game of the day, as you alluded to earlier. Their last opportunity to show off their skills. If they don't make it here, they are out, Jay, and we will be sending them home.
Pretty effectively. Again, this is last chance saloon for both teams, and it's basically glory or nothing at this stage. Go to the grand finals, get your crack at first place, or just leave with nothing here in the lower bracket. Well, I guess not nothing. Obviously, you get the circuit points still for placing at this ridiculous stage
Third's not
in the event. But like we were saying earlier, there's a lot of points up for grabs for first place, and so everyone's gunning for that.
Definitely. I mean, obviously, Rick's already prepped and ready to receive them. They're pretty convincingly into that first place spot at the moment, waiting for that grand final, of course, to confirm it. These two teams, I don't know what the points are for second, third, what the difference is, but there's every point helps, Jay, because in the Beacon circuit it's getting pretty tight.
I can actually tell you this: 150 points.
150,
for third and
so
second.
50 extra points.
Yes.
Juicy. You know what points mean?
Huh?
What do points mean?
Points mean you get to move up the ladder over on the Beacon circuit points table. And again, as we mentioned time and time again over the course of this broadcast weekend, Rix are currently the highest team here at Epic Land. So they're obviously favourites in this whole bracket, in this whole tournament. They have this one chance to make decency happen in this matchup, in this tournament, in this bracket. And then, of course, one of these two teams looks to try to challenge them here. In terms of where they stand against the Rix side, obviously Rix have gone undefeated thus far, but not without their challenges over the course of that upper bracket. So whoever makes it through, I'm going to give them an outside chance to at least do some damage in that grand final tomorrow.
Well, you say Rix have gone through undefeated. That is technically true, but they've dropped maps.
Yes.
They have dropped maps, which is something that's always got to be wary about. If there's teams that haven't even made it into the lower bracket final that have taken maps off of Rix, then they've got to be worried, because either of these teams could easily take a map. And Gladius and Jokers here, very strong teams that have seen the games from Rix. They've now played more games than Rix. Maybe they're really on form. They've had the whole day to learn and grow, whereas Rix only had, I think, 3 or 4 games to get to the grand final. These teams have played many, many more. So they could be in much greater form when we come to the grand final, when it eventually gets around to tomorrow.
Of course. Well, listen, let's take a bit of a deeper look into these particular squads. Obviously, the Jokers will be known as some very key elements in this particular side. Leica, obviously, a very known individual, not only for their stints in this roster and around the Epic LAN tournaments, the UK scene, but also their time at the highest level of Valorant, right? As a coach, as an analyst.
Analyst at Ascend and all sorts of,
exactly, right? So they're going to be that sort of the head honcho in terms of the tactics and the basis for that. And that's led Jokers to this point right now where they have maybe looked a little bit dicey at certain points, but certainly a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, you know, they obviously got knocked down into the lower bracket, and that's not what they maybe wanted to see before playing some of the really top teams. But they're still very strong contenders. They've made it all the way through. Gladius is a similar story, right? They fell to Rix in that sort of upper bracket final. It's unfortunate. They'll have potentially a shot at a rematch if they can win today. And they're another strong team as well. It's either team, I think, looking hot enough to make it.
Absolutely. Again, like this one could cut either way here. So for both sides, you're looking at their own individual bases. Obviously, Gladius had their chance against Rix a little bit earlier on in the upper bracket. Unfortunately for them, they didn't quite take a map over the Rix side, which does to me look like it might end up being a bit more of a difficult time for them going forward. But they were able to at least drag it out to a 16-14 on the first map of Ascent, in fact. So having that map in their back pocket, knowing that they've already done some decent work in that, it wouldn't shock me if that came through in this map pool right here, because knowing that they've done decent work against Rix, that's already a point to your favour, even if it's not a map win.
Well, that is interesting enough. Ascent is also where Temperate almost pulled Rix out to a win, wasn't it, as well? So maybe Ascent is the weak point for Rix, and teams like this should be picking into that tomorrow. We'll have to see what these teams want to play tonight. We are sort of starting to get the video through, which we'll get up in a few minutes, I think. We got a sneak peek through the chat, but we probably shouldn't talk about it.
Well, there'll be a graphic up on screen relatively soon. You can see exactly what this veto will look like. But in terms of the Gladius side, obviously we talked a lot about the Jokers of their own accord, right? Gladius have got some great individuals. I think Mercedes Peak is the guy that stood out the most over in that grand final. I could hear John from down the corridor shouting Mercedes Peak time and time again. But is there anything else that we want to look forward to?
Halsey's another strong player that I recognise. I've got a lot of knowledge from the Valorant UK uni scene, and just from that, recognising him, I think he used to play for one of the Cardiff unis. Very, very strong player, always recognisable in the scene. So nice to see them playing at an Epic LAN where I think they can bring that level of skill and the experience from that. And, of course, there's been lots of other things as well. I just happen to know them from there as well. Some of the other ones on there, Mike and, is it Samo on the team? I'm just trying to exactly read the exact names because I'm not 100% sure.
It's Samo.
It's Samo, okay.
Samo also known for being part of previous Epic LANs as well. So, again, there's a lot of experience when it comes to this particular tournament and these particular teams. So I'm excited because it's going to be a nice little clash of what we've seen so far over the course of over the course of the tournaments we've had on LAN in the last few months, as well as on the WAN when Valorant first came into the circuit and we started doing tournaments on the online environment. For me, I do kind of feel like Jokers on paper might be slight, again, just in terms of the roster alone, might be the slight favourites when it comes to the sort of experience. So, I mean, again, it works to their favour knowing the fact that it is a third versus fourth seed seeding. We have seen them, of course, in a top seed as well. So, in terms of like the slight little margins, I do take a look at them and think to myself that they might be in the more advantageous position overall.
I think I've got to agree with you there. Jokers feels the slightly more experienced team. I would sort of put it... I think definitely Gladius capable of getting a map off them. I think we are looking at a 3-map series here. This is not the earlier stages of the bracket where you see very different levels of teams. These teams are closely matched, but the edge should probably be given by us to that Jokers.
Well, let me throw one more spanner into the works just for funsies. These two teams took each other on in the upper bracket. And remember, it was Gladius that beat the Jokers in order to take their grand final position. The maps played were Ascent and Bind, 13-7 and 17-15. And Ascent and Bind will both be played in this series as well as the first and third maps in the pool. I don't know who's picked them, unfortunately.
We'll find that out later.
But just again, knowing that Ascent has gone the way of Gladius and it's 13-7, I can imagine that they decided on that one. They decided to pick into that one. And Haven will be the one map which they'll try and lean into over on the Jokers side. So for me, I'm sort of looking at that and thinking to myself that on paper we could be seeing a close affair, but we've already seen it been relatively one-sided so far in the upper bracket.
I think in that second game in the upper bracket as well, they played on Bind, which is potentially the third map, right? Which, again, that was an OT game. I think it was 3-4 OTs maybe for that particular game, so they were closely matched there. If that had gone the other way, they would have gone to 3 maps. And who knows, I don't know what the map was for the third game of that series, but it could have gone very differently. It wasn't a stomp, let's put it that way. Ascent was quite heavily Gladius sided, but after that, Jokers definitely could have come back in with a bit of a reverse sweep there, I reckon.
Yeah, I think if it does go to 3 maps, then we could be having a hell of a battle on our hands. Because again, Bind was the map that was played in that 17-15 victory for the Gladius side. So if we go to that particular distance, then that match will probably end up going the distance for my money here, Hanno. I just struggle to sort of like look at Gladius and think they can do it again, on the basis of the fact that we've just seen a strong run from the Jokers in the lower bracket, and obviously we talked very great, glowing reviews about the players on this roster, the experience of this roster, the elements that they have, the pieces that they have, the unification leader that be able to bring it all together in theory. And for me, as a result, I just have to look at them and think that we're looking at this team, giving them the edge overall, and they're probably going to be getting some revenge here, right?
Yeah, despite coming from that lower bracket, just in terms of the context of how these teams have done, obviously Gladius have just had their first proper loss of the upper bracket stage, being knocked out by Rix. So you don't know how these teams will be feeling right now, what the mood's going to be like. I think Jokers, after already being knocked out by Gladius earlier, they're going to be hungry for this revenge match. This is their opportunity to prove not only that they can beat Gladius, but also that they can make it to a grand final at Epic. So there's a lot on the line for them. Gladius, however, they've got to repeat what they've already done. There's not necessarily any honour in beating the team that you already punched down to the lower bracket. So there's definitely, I think, Joker's going to be hungry for the win, and obviously Gladius wants to make that final, but Jokers have got double the reason.
Absolutely. In terms of win conditions for the Gladius side here on this particular matchup, obviously they got quite close to potentially losing that last series at the same time. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think is going to be the condition that they need to get a more confident basis in this series and potentially take another one above the Jokers?
I think if they can pull off a very strong ascent again, just like they did first time round, it's difficult to see because, of course, we know like a very strong analytical player, strong leader. I'm expecting them to have looked back at their ascent, maybe try and change up some things. So maybe Gladius going to have less of an easy time trying to roll over Jokers on that ascent side. So as long as Gladius can stay strong, keep up that ascent, I reckon when it does get around to Bind, they can pull it off again. I don't think they... well, we'll see about map 2. I don't know yet how Gladius is going to play on the map 2. But if it does roll around to map 3, Gladius could still have a very good shot at finishing it off there, despite it being OT before.
Yeah, indeed. I'm again looking towards that Bind as the one map that's going to be the most fun of them all here. In terms of the Kerpel Haven and that second map that, of course, picked in, I imagine, by the Joker's side, knowing how they got smashed out on Ascent in previous performances. How do we feel about that one for the Gladius side? Like, is there anything that might be a problem for this team?
I'm not really sure. I think Haven's a very different style of map from a lot of the other ones, of course, because it's slightly more of attacking favoured. It does look like, picking the standard maps like Ascent and Bind, they're slightly more defensive favoured. Gladius has one on both of them. I'm interested to see if Jokers are going to have opted into that Haven because they want to take the more aggressive attacking side. They want to be playing into their opponents, trying to break into their sites rather than, again, the pressure is on you on the attack when you're playing in those maps, Ascent and Bind, to break the opponent, because every round that you break their defense is kind of an extra round your way that you can more easily defend when you're on the opposite side. So I'm interested to see if Jokers have thought that dynamic might be a good shift from losing Ascent and then losing Bind quite tightly. Haven could be the answer to their problems.
Indeed it could be. I think we're really going to come down to crunch time in that particular map in the series. I mean, I think that's going to be the most important sort of sticking point for these two squads, not just because the fact that it's the Joker's map here, but because it could well be the way into this series for this squad, knowing that Gladius have already done the damage, have already found their way to take the 2-0 above them overall. So a lot of interesting things to sort of discuss and get into as this match sort of rolls on here. Unfortunately, we're just waiting for one player to join the server, and actually we can jump in to the matchup itself. So I think we're about ready to get into this one. I want to get some quick final thoughts from you about this matchup. Any predictions or any sort of thoughts and feelings about this one?
I am going to go... I've got confidence in the Jokers. I think Leica, very strong leader, going to be able to pull off the 2-1 win. They'll drop Ascent and they'll pull off a reverse sweep. That's my bold prediction for today, Jay.
I kind of want to agree with you to a certain extent.
You can disagree with me if you want.
I don't know. I do. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I believe that the Jokers have what it takes to bounce back from that upper bracket, to do the work that they need to do. They've already proven it in the course of the bracket, so this will be their main chance to get back into the grand finals and a fight for the position that they're rightfully earning. So I'm also going 2-1. I'm going to the favour of the Jokers. Let's get into it with the first map of Ascent. The attacking force shall be the Gladius side. The defensive start will come through from the Jokers cap. So it's Ascent. It's our first map. It's our final match of the day.
Look at those agent picks. They very quickly locked in pretty much all of those agents. We obviously see Ascent very, very popular to have that raise on at the moment. We've got, yet again, as we saw earlier today when we saw Temperate playing up against Rix, one team's opted for the Omen, one team's opted for the Astra. Like are going to be picking up the Astra for the side of the Jokers. We've got both Chambers out, which is, again, very, very standard, and both Fades as well, which is definitely coming into much more of a meta pick. Very, very strong as an agent at the moment. That Nightfall ultimate ability is very, very powerful, especially on those entries, and even on those retakes, such large coverage area, and gives you great information on where those targets are. But, yeah, we're into the pistol, Jay, and wow. Have you got any extra thoughts on these comp? They're pretty much identical. Obviously, it's the Astra and the Omen changing, and that's pretty much it.
I mean, again, they both have their own individual pros and cons for my money. I was always a big Omen fan, if only because I'm just a massive goth myself.
Of course, yes.
But honestly, like, I can see why you want to go towards one or the other here. Like, Astra's got the stars, which I think are a really cool ability, and obviously Omen's got the ability to travel around the map wherever he wants to. So, for me, I just feel like in terms of the compositions, they have their own play styles, and the main concerning point is going to be the execution of their game plan. Here we go. The game plan of the pistol rounds sees Gladius quickly storming their way forward into the short control, and Mike will get that kill onto Leica, where swings out, sees two, but gets no kills. Mike with a double up. Mercedes peak taps up Ruler as Cam will fall towards one decent trade here, but a 4 versus 2 means that Gladius are in full control.
Straight away, that spike going to be heading on down. Samu is on the flank, but whiffing the shots onto the fade, and Get Bullied will be able to get away.
Trying to hold their line. Yugen hoping for a wallbang tap of some sort, but I don't think they're going to get it. Jokers swinging in, tags up Halsey, gets the kill onto Bully, and Yugen will try and face further forward. Look out to that short entrance, look to the back corner of Tetris, diving into dark to get 2 more players, plus the individuals out towards Heaven. And that's main entrance. Of course, Yugen's known here to the attacking forces. He'll swing back, catch Mercedes with a fantastic shot, but it is Mike to put him down for the triple and for the pistol for Gladius.
Yeah, lovely little afterplant vision, playing double on the right side. Absolutely no way the pistol can find a double headshot there, surely. And Gladius will start off with that round lead. Going to be an interesting spot, of course, here. The Joker side going to be, as usual, sitting on that eco, not opting to buy too much. Don't want to break their economy for round 3, where they can start to get those rifles out, which is really where the pressure will start to mount on them. Again, all the games we've seen today, Jay, have been, well, there's been a bit of a stomp on one side, there's been a bit of rough on the other. See if they can break the trend.
There have been a number of close calls, but also one-sided matches, as you mentioned before. Here on Ascent. Jokers and Gladius most certainly will want to try and avoid the one-sided against their own side of things.
Really did get spotted there.
Yeah, they do have some information to work with.
And Cam just going to jump around it. The Headhunter is trained on the angle, but they've been given the B site for free. Samu's done the investigative work, has discovered there are no criminals in this zone. And as the stack for Jokers is on that A site.
Yeah, just walk their way forward, get that spike down. Halsey will be a little bit careful about crossing entirely here for the Gladius side, because the stack in towards the A site with only the pistols out.
Being very careful here.
Yeah, just double checking, making sure that every sort of like basis is covered. They'll smoke down the back site, but nothing has been seen here. They'll clear it out, they'll get the spike down, and maybe they might force forward on Gladius to try and get these pistols in to try and do some sort of damage, but you shouldn't expect to round out of this.
Yeah, the retakes can be incredibly challenging. These players are playing off-site, they're playing together. If there's any kind of retake coming in, it's going to be coming through this B main area. To be honest, they should just be looking for exits here. I think picking up a couple of the Spectres could be nice. To be honest, it's not even for the Spectres, the fact that they can try and deny as big of a bonus round next round, if possible.
There come the kill, Samo, Mercedes, easy fraggins here for the Gladius side. Calm gets his piece of the pie, and Samo will close out with a double. Easy stuff for the attacking forces. 2-0 start for Gladius, and the Jokers will now have their gun by.
Easy pickings, you say. Not much to be done. They're going through a smoke with those pistols. Not very really an option. But we should have a buy coming out from Jokers now. Of course, they opted not to force up in round number 2, and they should have the advantage. Gladius losing no players. This should be a full bonus from them. Means they've bought no rifles. They should just have the full Spectre lineup. Which, well, I mean, it's not a great situation for Jokers. They like to do a little bit of damage, eke a little bit of that utility, economy utility out, because Gladius has technically 2 buys coming up, round 3 and 4.
Bring them down.
Yeah, Bully's not going to spot anything.
Sending out the Prowlers to try and flush out the main position, but nobody, as you mentioned, is going to be there for the defensive line. Ruler will get that first kill onto Mercedes Peak, but Halsey going to trade him right back to a 4-on-4.
Like, very aware of that smoke. We're going to leave it and opt to play towards this short position. That flash did come through from long. Samuel almost getting a collateral there, actually, but just able to find Bullied, and even will find the trade. Back into Even Stevens, 3-on-3. The spike is outside B. Just one player towards the site, as the rest of the stack for Jokers is towards this A position.
Throwing down the knives once again to try to catch information. Paranoia coming out. Block them out of the way with smokes that should suppress the market rotation. So they should have the B site. Should get the spike down for it. It'll be a 3v3 retake. That's still winnable here for the Jokers.
Yeah, the rotate very, very late from the Jokers, but the spike is in no real rush to get planted. They're trying to clean out every single angle. And so the Jokers will be in position to go for a retake here. 3-on-3. Definitely their best opportunity so far to pick up a round.
Knives to try to catch the forward players on the forward site. And they actually do suppress two of them. Calm, caught with the Spectre in hand, hearing all these footsteps making their way around. They don't quite have the suppression time to play with here on the Joker's side, so they will be active once again on the Gladius side. Yugen caught, Halsey and can ever get those kills. Leica with the 1 versus 3. Sees the first player, gets caught out in the open, does get sprayed down by both of them. Might credit it with the frag. Gladius find 3-0.
Very strong round for the Gladius side, of course, rocking up with the SMGs there, still able to wipe the floor with Jokers, and now that I've taken control of those weapons that Jokers will have dropped on death. And it's not a good sign. Not a good sign. 3-0, never how you want to start your game. You want to be able to make sure you win up that round when you're playing as SMGs. But, again, we are looking at Ascent here. The last time Jokers played this against Gladius, they lost, I think it was 13-7. Yeah, you know, it was not a very close game. So we're not expecting necessarily miracles out of this team.
Already they're forcing Ruler to utilize those TPs to get out of the initial face in with the control held. Well, back to the B site and try and hold a different angle here with the Headhunter. But very slow and careful from the attacking forces. A push forward from Jokers will come out towards the short control. That spike can make its way in towards A main, then it'll go down so easily.
All the Jokers players group towards this middle position, and if a couple of these players do overextend from the side of Gladius, could be plenty of kills. Ruler's found one.
Samuel with a quick response back to Yugen. Tap burst through for Mercedes Peak. Can't quite land the kill count, but Mike can. Bully caught, now we're known to the attacking side. Backup's going to get here relatively quickly. They'll also close down the doors. Sure, there's no way on the rotation front. However, there is a player that's pushed up towards mid. Leica does catch Mercedes Peak off guard. Weapon in hand and everything. 3 versus 3, they'll look to go. Further aggression from Samo will also come into play. I think they might have heard the footsteps, though, here on the attacking forces. Indeed, Ruler's going to get caught. Samo with a triple. Mike comes in with a quadra, and they hold the 4-0 as we hold a crash. Oh, dear. It's our bracket in play. You can see how the tournament's played out. That was not intentional at all. Didn't see that coming. Well, ladies and gentlemen, yes, that's a first. We have had tech issues over the course of the day. Nothing like that, though. So,
nothing quite as bad.
Yeah.
Very sorry about that, everyone. Hopefully they can reconnect to the game, and they hope. I don't know if the players have the controls drop a pause.
How does it work in a?
I believe they can
lobby?
just cause a. They can just call a technical pause.
But for a spectator, though.
I mean, I think we should be able to reconnect. We should be back in hopefully soon. Again, we'll be able to see if our observer gets back in, and if he doesn't, we'll give you an update, because that could be a problem. I
can only imagine what we could try and do to find it. Oh, no, we're not back in. It's all good. We're back in the game, breaking hearts again. Here we are, quickly into the 5th round. Gladius up on the guns here against the Joker's side. Again, they count at 4-0. And Halsey's thinking of pressing quite the issue out towards that short position. Flash is going over for where, sees one, bursts through, gets Halsey on the second face.
Lovely little shot there onto the head. 4-0 right now. Gladius in a rare position where they're at the disadvantage. Down a player, and the onus on them to take one of these bomb sites. They've really got to make some moves sooner or later. 55 seconds left in the round. It's not as long as you might think, you know, when you're in these kind of situations. There's so much utility that can delay you. It looks like they're heading towards A.
Instant in with the Haunt trying to detect position where suppress 3 individuals. Ruler, however, with a tour de force, gets a double. Drops Samo and Mike. The spike gets dropped and everything. A 4 versus 2 can ensue here for the Joker's side. Now Calm leans in. Spray almost goes well against Leica, but a little bit too much health to try and find in this case. Mercedes Peak, his crosshair placement and his own face is going to be a little bit too far off to the right-hand side, so the Jokers will claim their first round.
They certainly do, and well, they did need to pick one up. It was looking a bit ropey there with those 2 rifles going the way of Gladius, but now Joker's back in the game again. They weren't too hot last time they played it, but this is a chance to potentially redeem themselves. Gladius already got that tour de force up there off just 5 rounds, and they're going to be seeing if they can use that towards that middle position. I don't think anyone's going to face him. It doesn't look like the KO's interested in it. But on the side of Jokers as well, got the operator up, trying to clear out towards this B tunnels position. The nade goes in to clean out anyone close, and Ruler should just be able to hold this angle and see what happens.
Can see some chamber on chamber action. Operator versus tour de force, where leaning into that mid control again, getting rid of the haunts being put out there by the enemy Fade. Ooh. And Samo wins the chamber battle with that tour de force. Perfect shot on Ruler.
1 down and 4 more to go for Gladius. That tour de force already securing them 1. How many more can it do? Looks like Leica already doing the gravity well there to try and see if anyone's walking in through that B main. And the execute comes on up. This is so quick.
Showstop around the corner, can't quite find any individuals though. Bully takes the face, gets Mercedes Peak. Leica will drop back. Where with a flashbang forward, sees one of Mike, but Mike still holds it while blind. A 4 versus 2 can ensue, not the first time it's happened, leaving it all towards one of Yugen, caught off by the tour de force. Samo gets another kill to his name, and Gladius hold the 5.
Yeah, a lovely little attack from them. It looked like that site was just not ready to be executed on. I believe the raise for the side of the Jokers was playing off towards the back towards CT, and they were able to get straight onto that site. No sentinels in their way at all. It was just the utility from the Astra which got burnt early. They pushed straight after it, and there was nothing really Jokers could do. They needed to play for the afterplant. They weren't really able to do it, and Gladius shut them down.
And quickly into that B main position, you have got the Prowler being sent out once again. Yugen very far aggressive. This could get really interesting between him and the other player that's around the corner here. The knives are going to catch him off. Are they aware? Well, they certainly will be now. Taps up. Can't get the headshots though for Yugen's part. Now Bully's got to face in and eventually Samo will drop. That's the flank involved, but the site's been taken for it.
There is still, of course, the man advantage to Jokers. So a retake very, very doable here. They managed to get themselves, obviously, the Guardian and a Vandal off one of the enemy players. This is a good shot for them. And Ruler might have just caught a player off as well.
Oh, they just get mowed down by Gladius. Leica somehow turns away against Mike and deals with him. Now a gun to get picked up on the Vandal's part. Of course, the Jokers have all fallen apart with their pistols in play. Leica knows the best bet is probably to save onto this weapon. Sit back and spawn, hope for an exit or two. Ultimately, will not gain much in this round from here on out. It will be a 6th to the board of the Gladius side. They will claim the half-point advantage. Leica just about gets that kill at the very least. The second player to wrap that corner. Cam is going to find the tray back for his own triple and for the 6th round for Gladius side.
Yeah, very strong start for the attacking side of Gladius, and no signs really of stopping so far. I think, I know it's interesting. One of the comps we saw on Ascent earlier today, which was doing rather well, I think it was the Temperate Ricks game, was just having that killjoy, you know, having a strong sentinel that can kind of anchor these sites. Whereas Jokers are kind of lacking that right now. I don't really see an agent, apart from really KO, that I think can just lock down a site by themselves. And they're being pulled across the map, rotating off sites as they execute in. It just looks really an awkward defense here on Ascent.
Once again, they lean in towards the B play. A spray from Yugen, however, with the information being gained out towards main, will dish out some significant damage to the Gladius side. Still no kill in the early round, though.
Yeah, no one wants to give up that first blood. That all-important man advantage would be awful, especially to give to Jokes right now. They almost capitalized on it a couple of rounds ago.
Boombot in. Try prod towards that A site again here for the attacking forces. I've got the short push in from Yugen. Extra smoke in for Leica. Will continue to watch out to the main control. Yugen's going to catch Mercedes off guard. Kick things off on the right foot.
Gladius losing a player early, but Samo being given the entirety of this B site right now just to walk up and close. Going to try and fight Leica here and wins the fight. That's already the IGL tied forward. Joker straight down. Ruler has found a response, but the B site should still be entered into. Halsey right up close.
Awkward stuff there with the smoke involved. Halsey thinks that Ruler might still be back here on the stairs, and indeed he is. Pulling out the pistol, face in with the headhunter. Gets the kill on Mike, but two trays come back from Mike and Halsey, so left towards one at the back of the site. Forced off by Ware, gets the kill in, and holds the defensive line for the Jokers. Not even a spike plant allowed to the Gladius side.
No, Jokers finally succeed in defending their site for the second time. No spike plant denies, I suppose, a little bit of economy for the side of Gladius, but they're not doing too shabby. They should be able to buy very, very cleanly here with the money that they have. And again, they seem to set up quite similarly most rounds here. Gladius are leaving 3 players outside of B, 2 towards the A long position, just to keep an eye on all of the map control that they start with, and see if Jokers are going to overextend, give them a free pick.
Instant information to be gained here. The hunts will continue to try and push them out of the main control. Utility down here. The decay against Yugen. Caused some issues there with the Seize of the Horn. Trying to fall back here, trying to hold their line. Cells in place. The Satchel will send Yugen charging back out of the main control. Still being hunted though, getting caught by Vision.
Yeah, still no one dead. 1:10 on the clock. Plenty of time to put off a kind of rotation if they want to. And it was a close one, but it wasn't to be. Gladius going to be moving on round towards this A. They want to go for a cat take, but Where's here? Shuts down Mike and gives the info that there's no one out towards the middle spot.
We're forced back in the end, however, with that kill being found. Gladius play at the player disadvantage. The knives coming in from the defensive side will get the information back, and Halsey will now also know what is going on. Nightfall also popped out by the attacking side and the defensive side for that matter here. Held together as Samo will get that plant in.
Mercedes peak. Going to be challenging this upper position, and don't know if this is the right play. Ware's ready for it, takes the head. Samo gets another. Ware with the response. That's 3 already this round for Ware. 4 on 2 for the side of Jokers. Making it a 3 on 2 as Halsey's doing brilliant work on the back line. Halsey makes 2.
2v2 situation for it. Gets the headshot on Calm as well. So now it's Halsey all alone. Gets his frag back. The turn in for the Gladius side. The Jokers getting capitulated here on the site itself. A 7 to the board as the attackers now take the lead away from the Jokers camp. Not able to really hold their own here, and unfortunately it feels like the attacking phase has just been such a dominant side here from the Gladius camp.
Yeah, Joker's really struggling at the moment. A 5-round deficit, just 9 rounds in. It's a difficult one to surmount. Again, you know, there is hope that when they move on over to that offensive side, they'll have a few new strategies and new tricks up their sleeves to try and crack the Gladius defense, which they were unable to do last time they played. Yet again, Gladius playing this very standard setup. 2 players towards A, 3 players towards B. They're not doing it spicy. They're not going for any rushes. They're playing it slow. They know that they are much more confident on this map, I'd say, and they want to make sure that they're not overconfident.
Yeah.
They want to be secure in their win. They'll drop a few rounds here and there, but overall they will be consistent.
Well, so far, so slow. And if there has been something consistent over the course of the day, it has been the slow passive defaults on a lot of the attacking sides. Of course, Jokers will not respond with aggression. They will not push up towards mid. You have got one player that's starting to push into that short position, and Ware gets quite a number of tags on Mercedes peak, but not enough to get the kill. It's returned to him.
Mike going to be using the blast back to try and get some cheeky angles, but I believe it is just Ruler here, but with the 0 point on him, they don't even have their headhunter out. We're going to be able to get it out just in time, but Mike takes them down.
One on the side, Nightfall there to clear it all out. Bully will try to find an angle. The Horn, however, is going to get destroyed, so they won't have the information towards it. Like a caught by Halsey, doubles up on towards Yugen, and now leaving it all on the shorty to try and ace clutch this at a 1v5. It's just not going to happen for Bully here. 8 to the board of Gladius at this moment.
Yeah, pretty much. Bullied, not even worth saving this shorty, but if they can do a little bit of damage, that's worthwhile. Okay. There we go. They pick off Samo with a lovely little jumping shot. Might be able to find a couple more headshots. They have got the Vandal in hand, and Could be dangerous. Not quite able to do it. Gladius, as you say, pull up 8-2, and they're looking pretty solid. They're keeping a lot of players alive in these rounds. They're keeping their economy high. Jokers just still struggling. There are a couple rounds left of this half before we will swap the sides. And again, if Jokers want to pull off some kind of a comeback, I think they're going to need at least a couple more rounds here on the defense, and that's all they've got left.
6 rounds on the difference at this moment in time. Gladius. 3 ultis to work with as well. Ruler bringing out one of the 2 that they have on the Joker's side. The Tour de Force with the Cosmic Divide also in play. Ruler to hunt for the frag. He turned around, suppressed instead, so the ulti can't even be utilised. That's not good, and he's back up from Yugen desperately, and he does hold his own for the time being. Bully will spray back. A 4-on-4 with a trade. Decent Ruler, however, caught off by the Boombot as Bully gets overwhelmed by Mercedes Peak the same. A 2 versus 3. Gladius able to break in, thanks all down mostly to the suppression that was involved there. Flash forward again, Leica caught off by Mike Ware, gets that kill, but Mike with a Quadra shuts them all down on the Joker's side.
Yeah, looking a very, very rough half indeed, and Mike with a beautiful set of players has managed to get their ultimate up as well. And being the last round, pretty sure they're going to want to open up with this showstopper and a couple of blast packs. Could be a lovely entry on towards this A site, as they've moved away from that passive default that we were talking about just last round. They've had a slight change of heart, and they're going to go in with a change of pace. It looks like it's going to be a fast 8-hit. They've got that showstopper available. They've got the blast packs. It's going to be a pretty fast A-hit, if I don't mind guessing myself. So fast from Jugan. Might actually be to capture a couple of players out. Does some damage, but it's not enough to kill. The paint shells go in. I don't know if that's going to be enough. So far forwards. Just the one.
Leica caught one of his own, however. A 3-on-3 situation for them. Halsey now trying to disappear from the shadows back into the back of the B site. And Bully has absolutely no idea. Such low HP on this individual as well. In theory, the knife kill could come up. Will he check the corner? Yes, he will win the fight, but tanks some damage for it. Halsey got so much out of that. Mercedes caught off by Runer in the mid-control, though. They gained that map presence over the Gladius cab. And now it's Samo left alone. Tour de Force can be brought out to play here. It's got to activate it.
Does have the spike.
Does have the spike as well. You're right about that. Can get into the A site from here and all.
Yeah, just like her, I believe. Sitting towards the back of the garden area, towards A. Will allow, if Samo can cross here, will be allowed to get that spike planted. And I mean, it doesn't really mean much, of course, this being the last round of the half. If Samo can find Leica here, though, this opens up a world of possibility. That's a free pick. Leica not prepared for a player to come from behind it, assuming they wouldn't check that deep on that angle. Samo will get the spike planted. And it's going to be a 1v2, Jay. Surely this is Jokers.
I wonder. Tour de Force can get brought out. Right call to make. Looking in against Ruler. No support. Perfect shot to connect it. And now backs up a 1-on-1. Gets rid of the Hornet as well. Bully will have an idea as what's going on. Samo might get caught for this. Tour de Force trying to get baited. So there's 4 bullets towards it. The face fire. The shoulder bait. The shot misses. And Bully holds it together. We'll have the defuse and have the 3rd round for the Joker's side.
A lovely little 1v1 there to win it out. Baiting out trying to bait out the Tour de Force shot. Then just jumps out and managed to swing so wide that Tour de Force not expecting it in the chamber. Just slightly whiffs. 9-3. Now, most times when you see a 9-3, people start calling out about the curse. Now, I think if Joker's going to win this map, they need that curse to happen, because I don't see a way back into them right now. Back into the game for them.
I won't lie, the Gladius side have definitely been on top. Can we bring up the scoreboard for a second, please? I'd like to see what's going on here in terms of those top guys.
At that.
And you can, yeah, there you go. You're bang on the money with that. Mike, 16 kills. Samo, 12 kills. Halsey, 10 kills. And that is double digits for 3 players over on the Gladius side versus the Jokers, who have only, I mean, they're close towards double digits, but they're not actually at the double digit markers. So in terms of individuals, they have far better elements performing right now for Gladius here. Joker better take the attacking side as their main half. Cam ready to receive. Evade the Boombot, will catch him up. Flash forward. Players are so blind, but nobody's dead to the hands of the defensive forces. Cam can get the kill. Trade back from Leica is there, though. With
the trades coming in, of course. Back to 4-on-4. get bullied. Trying to win out against Samo yet again. And Samo going to be fleeing in terror. 10 HP left. A couple of shots, it looks like, on that headhunter. And get bullied, just very aware, of course, with those trails leading them right towards the chamber. Misses the jump on stream. Unlucky bullied. Unlucky. Thinks the player's close, but no, Samo has actually fallen all the way back here. One player playing in CT for Gladius. This is smart. They've given up the B site. They're playing very much off site. They're committing towards this A hole, as that's what they think the Joker's will be coming in. And they are guessing correctly.
Samo trying to bait them here. 30 seconds. Bringing out teleportation, suppressed by the knives anyway, revealed by the Haunt, and Bully gets the headshot and the wall bang. 2 kills to his name, a 2 versus 2 situation, thanks to that one trade from the Gladius player. Mike caught off by the boombot. Both individuals seen as Bully gets the triple, but taken back by Mercedes. 1 versus 1. Ruler on site, takes a bullet to the head, but dishes out more damage there with the headhunter. Brings in the 4th and the pistol for the Jokers.
They both dink each other. But it is Ruler that comes out on top, as you say. Headhunter, it does hunt heads, and it only takes 1 shot, and you are out of the game. Very, very strong ability, to be honest, when you think about it. Being able to kind of have a sheriff permanently in your hands throughout an entire game. There's just so many situations where it works out very, very well for you. And a very solid start from Joker's, got to say. To get back into this game, they did need a pistol to just give themselves some breathing room, you know, allow themselves to kind of deny Gladius the double digits and give themselves some time to pick up some rounds. Ruler just mowing players down right there. Triple kill right off the bat. Gladius in shambles.
See, I would be a lot more impressed if that was all against the rifles and the full-on buy, but it wasn't, which is the only thing that takes away from that kind of a play. One player now known out towards the main control. The shorty for Halsey is going to be teamed up pretty effectively, where doesn't quite get caught off. Does eventually get the kill against Cam. So it's 1 pick to be found. 4-5 alive here for the Joker's side. If they're board, and now the guns can come through in true here for Gladius.
Yeah, we're seeing obviously the Joker's going to be sitting on their bonus round because they didn't lose many players at all. I think Ruler was just the one to die there, or maybe they didn't even buy last round. They could have plenty of cash in the bank. Oh, I love you can bring out the Bulldog. Honestly, I think the Bulldog, heavily underrated. Really big fan of that gun. People often buy SMGs all the time, when I think, honestly, Bulldog would almost do a better job, especially when you don't know if the opponent's on a buy.
See, because I'm a messy player, I don't actually like guns. That doesn't mean I can't spray. So burst fire isn't my thing. So I just hold the button.
It's not always burst fire.
I hold the button and I just pray, to be honest. So.
Well, but it's only burst fire if you right click, and right clicking is, you know, that's skill.
That's fair enough. But then why would you buy it? Besides the point, here we go. Rifle round coming in. Yugen charging up towards that short control, trying to get to someone in the back lines here at Heaven. Smokes in against them again. The Astral Style's working well to keep them suppressed. The plant can be secured as a result. They'll spray through blind at dart, but the retake most certainly will be on. Rendezvous also going to get caught off into the back of the Heaven position. I don't know if they're aware that they just burst it out by the Joker's side, but either way, Gladius very quickly in position to go for the take here. Try and use that seize on Mercedes peak. Also put the Haunt down to try and get the information. They'll play Overwatch towards it, and all the kills just pour in for the Gladius side. 1 player left, unknown to them. Leica trying to find an angle to play with, and they think that they might be out towards that main control, but now they're known. Spray through, Halsey takes them down, and that will be a 10th round for Gladius.
Yeah, Halsey taken very, very low, but a lot of experience under their belt. Still able to pick up the kills like that. 10-5 right now. Gladius, a commanding lead. It was to be expected, I think. You know, we both have seen the results and talked a little bit about how dominant this matchup was before when they played. Really, the interesting games, I believe, are going to be map 2 and 3. That's really where we're going to learn a lot about these teams and see how much they've learned over the course of today. Now, GDS Mike still heading up the score before the side of Gladius. Halsey not that far behind. Samus going very aggressive here. Oh, catches with the knife out.
Gets caught in the gravity well, but can escape it. Fortunately enough, the Jokers don't give chase to that position. Vulnerable for the time being, but will get out of dodge and made those debuffs. They do fade away in the end. Counter knives coming in. You can see the Joker side just stopping dead in their tracks to not give away the information to the Gladius cap.
Yeah, denying that information, incredibly important in a situation like this. You don't want any kind of rotates coming out on early before you can perform your execute. The Prowler going to be going on in, but Mike does give their position away, having to shoot it, of course. Clearing out the trademark as well. They're just trying to clear out as much of middle as possible, make it as easy as possible if they do want to go that route. Also, the pressure on towards mid will mean the Gladius players are going to feel a lot more pressure from that angle, and if Jokers go back into a B main execute, Gladius has no idea what the presence is of these players towards middle. They haven't been able to re-aggress it yet. There's not been enough time, and all three of them are kind of aware of this CT in middle position, careful that there could be anyone pushing through that spot, but they're all going to be coming out of main, Jay.
Very quickly, the Prowlers will get the information at least towards the one player, maybe two of them sprayed through. There might be a little bit of an inkling as to what's going down. Paint shell thrown here by Eugen, knifes out to catch one player. Back out towards the hub position, and maybe Samo could strike, but where adjusts to the headshot. Leica also gets Mercedes peek in the back of the B site. A 5-on-3 has been gained, the spike plant is secured, and Gladius, if they're going to go for this retake, they're going to have to do it relatively quick. You can see they're putting the fragments down towards the corner. Halsey putting out some smokes as well, keeping Ware at bay. I think he's on that 29 HP, and now detected once again by the knives in the back. Second player also should be known that it was May, as Mike sees Ware, gets that frag, and Halsey quickly in the position is Eugen. Trays back onto Karma. 4 versus 2 situation. The attackers hold their own, but Mike has found a sneak in. The headshot to find the 2 players in the back as Bully gets Halsey, and Mike can't wait to adjust, but he does his best. Only getting the triple, not the quadra that will get the round itself. It goes the way of the Jokers.
Yeah, Jokers winning out a couple of rounds. They almost shouldn't, and now they're closing that gap just a little bit. Still going to be a buy, of course, from the Gladius side, and they're going to have all of those Vandals up and ready. Mike very, very close because of their performance the last couple of rounds. I think it was 3 for them last round. Almost managed to secure a quadra if they managed to win out that clutch there. But yeah, basically back with the showstopper probably by the end of this round. Halsey with the Omen up and ready. On the other side, of course, Ruler probably going to drop that tour de force this round, since they haven't bought a rifle, as well as the Nightfall on the fade. Jokers on the offense still. Samo did aggress towards that B long area, but I don't think they wanted to go any further once they saw that trademark. Giving away the position would be a very poor idea, and the A long execute coming on in.
And Nightfall put down. They've also put the null command into play as well on the attacking side. It's 3 ultimates, including the Tour de Force. Halsey and Mercedes P get the kills against the Gladius side, though. 10 seconds to try and pick the player back up. As Bully sees 2 players in the back. Ruler does find Mike, and now they're reduced towards 1. The Chamber alone, caught off on the outskirts of the map in that mid position. Now smoked away, as Ware will fall permanently, and Ruler will try to use the Vandal to get back into the site itself. The defuser's already been stuck, however, and the round is done.
Gladius just looks so much more coordinated on their retake there. They found a couple of kills through the smokes, fell on off, allowed the plant to go through, and then just waited for the utility to fall, and they could easily re-execute into that site with a huge numbers advantage. And Jokers, no real chance in that afterplant at all. It just looked like they didn't have any util left. They lost too many on the entry, and it's just not enough, not enough coming out of these players right now to secure these sites for good.
Yeah, not the best starts in the series here for the Jokers side. Gladius, of course, playing the map that they were able to take much more one-sidedly against the Jokers in their semi-final match in the upper bracket. Knives in. Halsey is not going to give away the position, not going to give away the advantage. Eugen walking in towards mid, checking for Mike in at the market. Control sprays through against him, actually. And the Cosmic Divide can also come out from the Joker's side. At the same time, however, there will be a showstopper brought in by Gladius. Leica forced to try back Samo as Mike leans in. Mercedes Peak, however, tapping the heads with the burst fire, and Leica doesn't stand a chance. Gladius now double the scoreline of the Jokers. 12-6 now on map point.
Almost identical to the score that we saw. It was obviously 13-7. And Jokers just 1 round behind where they were before. It looks like their ascent hasn't improved as much. But again, Jokers, I believe, is a mix, if I'm right. It's not exactly a team that's playing together very, very often. So it is oftentimes hard in the mixes to form a very strong map pool before you get to the event. Well, this could be the final round, of course. Gladius 12. They just need 1 more. 3 hostiles detected, of course, by Cam here. Jokers have managed to get on site, but we're going to see probably another one of Gladius' excellent afterplants as the door does get closed. But they are in position for a retake. So many players here. A couple of ults up as well. None that are going to help them with the retake. Cam does get traded by Jugan himself.
1-for-1 Tower as they charge forward on the Gladius side, send the Prowlers back out, catching off Ruler's information. Frags found on Mike Leica. Samo go back and forth suddenly. It's left to one in a dark bully. There with the Sheriff in hand. Gets the first frag. Mercedes tapping around onto the defuse. They'll go, but he's got to peek. Got to get that headshot, but no. Mercedes peek gets the head himself. A 13-6 score will get Gladius map 1 in the series. They'll have their own pick. They will have their set.
They have obviously, found, as you say, their map pick. Now, the real question is, that was kind of a foregone conclusion. There was hope, maybe, that the Jokers could pull off, a crazy sort of, turnaround from earlier in the day where they lost to Gladius. But I think all of us expected that to be a loss for the Jokers side. But there's still potentially 2 maps left of the series. Jokers map pick still to come.
Indeed, it is. And again, this could be the way that they can find their way back in. Haven not being a map that was played in that previous series in the upper bracket. So I look forward to seeing how far they can go, whether they can take us to that blind final one. However, a lot of work needs to be done to improve on that individual performance as well as their team formation. We're going to head towards a short break. And when we come back, it's Haven, map 2.
Hello.
Put his face in the camera, switched back and forth.
Did he actually?
Yeah, he got up and he turned around to go out and he just looked into the camera just like, oh, what? He ducked out of the way in a panic.
Technical issues in that game. It's the end of the day.
Yeah.
Was that the same Joker's team? Was that the same team?
That's what I was trying to verify.
Yeah, I was like, I thought they were a mix, but I could have been wrong actually. No, I didn't think Leica had formed the new team yet.
Because I know that Bully was there on that team. EPIC35, they don't have them listed. They have Vex, wasn't it?
Was that game done?
First map done, yeah.
It's a best of 3, mate.
We got the whole tab for the entire first half. I'm really sorry.
You what?
We got the whole tab
Oh,
for the entire
yeah.
first half.
It wasn't a massive problem.
Hopefully the visual was okay other than that. And the
So it was
Oh,
4.
Maru was different.
Yeah, Mara was the change when the Jokers back at EPIC36.
So maybe they are a team.
Yeah.
Ah, shit, I shouldn't have said that.
That's all good, don't worry.
I think I called them a mix already.
To be fair, they were a mix then. It's like you still understand. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully other than that it was okay. Anything you'd like to see?
Yeah, it was fine.
No, mate, spot on.
Did
Okay,
great.
great.
I didn't even notice it was anything different from earlier.
Well, I missed a couple of kills, but it's just...
Missing a couple of kills is fine though. Like,
Missing
I'm not
just
beating
2
myself
kills.
up about my...
like if you've got 2 guys that are about to point their gun at each other, you can't always tell who's going to pull the trigger first. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. You know, as long as you just show the action, that's fine.
Yeah, you got the action, and you did get the action, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I thought I cast a lot worse that game.
Yeah,
Just stumbling over shit.
I feel the fucking tiredness settling in again. Yeah, but I've been exhausted the entire fucking day.
Well, yeah, you've had 6 hours sleep. In like the last 4 days, you showed us your sleep timer. Bro, I don't know how, I still don't understand how you're awake. Like, I've probably had about 12 hours sleep the last like couple of days, and I want to go to bed. I'm fucking exhausted.
Honestly, man, I'm just dead.
What do you do outside of casting, Jay? What are you up to most of the time?
It's my main job.
Really? Full
Yeah,
time?
I'm full time. I do have some side businesses, particularly my family's shop, which I can report stake in.
What does it do?
Dry cleaning.
Oh, fair enough.
So, yeah, so dry cleaning in our local area. Business has been up lately, back to pre-pandemic levels, and everyone needs their clothes cleaned. So,
Yeah.
because now everyone's in the health scare, and everyone's washing their hands and then, trying
dry
to take
cleaning
it
is
seriously because we've drilled it into it. It's like, ooh, let's go to the dry cleaners. They know what they're doing, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's good for business, though.
It's good for business. So it seems like the Jokers might not be laughing at the end of this one. Down on the first map at a pretty easy 13-6 at that one. It was their opponent's map pick, to their credit, going the way of the Gladius side. And now we move to Haven. This is where we said that the whole thing could come together for the Joker side. Again, their pick completely separate from the last series that we saw between these two sides. The matchup that could have very easily gone the way of this Gladius team. But now a chance for the Jokers to strike back. My concern is that it's a similar story in that last series, right? I had the map pick of the Joker's side now to go towards their favour to try and see if they can make it an overtime affair. And Haven still could go the way of Gladius. They have looked very impressive, and I have some big concerns when it comes to how they'll hold themselves in the context of this matchup.
Yeah, every opportunity, I think, that Gladius could also take this as map number 2 and close it out as a 2-0 series, as they did earlier on in the upper bracket semifinals against this same team. But again, both of us, we started off this series saying we reckon it's going to be a reverse sweep 2-1 to Jokers. And I think we're going to stick with that, you know. I think Haven is a good opportunity. I think Jokers might have some hidden strengths on this map. And that obviously if they can win this, it will be going to, I think it was Bind, right, was the last map, which is where they went to several rounds of overtime before. And this time, we're gambling on the side of Jokers, right? We believe in the slight underdogs in this story. So hopefully we'll get the full distance, the full 3 maps.
I don't know if underdog is necessarily the right term
it's
to
not
use.
really
Again,
the right
they
terms.
are the higher seed and everything like that. Like, it's such a debatable sort of thing at this particular stage. Like, I'm not even going to call them underdogs and favourites. I'm just going to call them a team, a good team, and another good team. Like, that's all I'm going to call them. Right? They seem to be very solid at this one, and either one could take the victory right here and now. It could be a 2-0. It could be a 2-1. It could go the whole distance, or it could be shut down right here and now. Again, my primary concerns for the Jokers have got to be about the individual stats, because we saw at the turn of the half how there were 3 players that were on double digits in terms of the kill counts over on that side of the Gladius cab, and nobody was in double digits for the Jokers. Yes, they had players that were up to 9 kills or so at the turn of the half, but that's a comparison of 3 players that were already doing better than the entire enemy team versus no one that was coming close towards those margins, one of which was even closing in on 20 frags at the 13th round. So we're talking about some seriously great performances from individuals that they're going to have to find a way to shut down over on the Jokers. Yeah,
Mike looking very, very impressive. I think we've got to agree on that on that last map. Multiple quadra kills, several triple kills as well, doing a huge amount of work on that race. You got to see if they're going to keep up on the Raze on Haven. Still a viable pick, I would argue. Raze on Haven. In fact, it's pretty viable on most maps at the moment. Very, very strong pick, so we'll see if Mike decides to stick with that. But again, you know, it's Haven. It's it looked like Ascent was not a strong point for Jokers. You say it's down to individual stats, but stats are built off of the team's confidence in the map, the team's strategies for the maps, the team's protocols for that map. And it looked like Jokers didn't necessarily have the same level that Gladius did. So I'm thinking we move over to Haven, we move over to this brand new map. These teams haven't played on that in this event yet. So there could be some surprises for Gladius. There certainly is an opportunity for the Joker's side to one-up them here in their sort of rematch, their revenge rematch.
It could also be surprises in terms of the 2-0 going the way of the Gladius side, and Jokers will be knocked out without a chance to recontest for their Epic LAN title. They have been in this position before. They have had their chance to try a crack at the Grand Final trophy, and on this occasion it might not be given to them for another chance. So, again, pressure's kind of on them right now here because great names, well reputed here at Epic LAN, and obviously well known across the world of Valorant in some cases. So we have to see some decency from them. We can't let them just sort of get away with a simple affair on this match and just let it go in that 0-2 fashion. So I look at this and I think to myself that they're probably the ones with the highest amount of pressure coming into map 2.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But again, talking just about some of the players as well, a lot of these players have played in good teams with several other of the high-level teams at this event. You know, they've got good experience in the UK scene, lots of team experience as well. Just to point out, some of the names I know is that Halsey just worked with a lot of the team that's currently the Goose House as well. A lot of those players there, I think it was Dargon, MZU, a couple of those players played with them before. So has a lot of team experience, and that's how they're able to get to this kind of level. And I don't know the Gladius players as well, I've got to admit to it, so I probably can't talk much about some of their experience. But again, for both these teams to get this sort of level of the tournament, very well matched, you say. You're not looking at them as underdogs or overdogs. They're very, very strong teams, the both of them. And even if Gladius does pull off the 2-0, Jokers had a very hard-fought run, especially with the sort of lower bracket games they've had, to make it all the way to the lower bracket grand final. Kind of, that's really what this is for a fight for third place. Fight for second place Loser gets third. You're not aiming for third.
Final. It's not even like a second place. It's not like it's a decided match. This is a lower bracket final, so could be even a fight for first place at this stage. Again,
that's true.
The possibilities are endless.
Fighting to not come third.
Yes.
Yes. That's how I should have worded it.
Yeah, there you go. We'll roll with that.
Yeah.
And again, more beacons, points, and everything up for grabs. Again, 50 points to the victor, guaranteed to lock in above the 100 that they've already guaranteed themselves at this particular stage here, Harrow. So we have, again, a lot of pressure over on this Joker's side. And I think for me, their big win condition is to get a good start here on Haven. I think that they're going to have a bit of a difficulty because they will be on the attacker's side at certain points. But at the same time, I also do feel like a good pistol, a few good guns, a decent half in to start things off is where they need to be in order to hold themselves contest.
If they want to start good, the attacking side is the half to do it. I've got to say, like, especially on Haven, if you can start well on the attacker side, you can build up some great momentum. You've got so many options on the attacking side of where to hit, how many splits you want to do onto those different sites. And again, the amount of times you see teams like do a split both onto A and onto B, and then just use a wall of smokes, pass through B, go back through the backside of A. There's some wonderful plays, which again, I'm sure Leica being the god IGL that we've already talked about before, we can expect that kind of level of play. So I've got confidence in Jokers here on Haven as we do get into the agent select.
What are we thinking on this one, mate?
Well, I'm expecting the double chamber, which, again, we saw previously on Ascent. Samo and Ruler, we're seeing that fade again from Bullied. Mercedes peak on the fade as well. Cam moving off of, I believe they're on the KO before. They're going to be over on the Breach. Another very strong agent here on Haven, and we're recognizing that as well, playing, moving off that KO on towards that Breach. So I do really like this. In fact, they pretty much identical again. They are exactly identical. Mirror comps. Mike still on the Rays. Love to see that. Jugan also still on the Rays. Both pretty strong players in their respective rights as we should have to the pistol very, very soon. But a strong comp, I've got to say, for Haven. Breach is a pretty necessary switch that you've got to make when you're moving on over from Ascent.
I mean, sometimes you see it without, honestly, on some occasions, and it depends really on the team. Once again, we haven't seen it in every single match, for example. It's not like it's a necessity per se, but it is definitely one of those that definitely aids when it comes to this map up. So I'm excited to see how well it will go again for the likes of Cam switching out to it for We're doing the same sort of situation. The Joker's on the offensive start. We'll get to the pistol round. Set up towards the A site initially. Might be a quick walk in or a split play from long and short.
Yeah, one just thing to mention about the Breach is just the effectiveness of the Rolling Thunder here on Haven. On a lot of maps, you maybe can't cover the entire bomb site, or it's awkward to get into a position where you can get a really solid lineup and then capitalize off it quickly. But here on Haven, every single site, there is a great spot to stand in, or there's some beautiful angles where you can Rolling Thunder on towards that C position. B, even just using it on Garage can be incredibly effective sometimes, as instantly you might get some contact there. Don't think the paint shells do any damage.
Now there's the fault line to force him back. Prowler out for Bully. Flash in for Cam to try and keep Mike at bay. Will be successful in doing so as the charge out comes from Yugen first and foremost. Cam, however, draws first blood against him. We're going to get caught back, forced away from the other side of the site itself. Cam gets that kill. Leica responds. Cam, however, with the triple. The headshots gain, looking in for Leica next. Trying to see where Bully is and will get overwhelmed by the player. So now it's him and a second in Leica versus the two players of the Gladius retake.
Spike planted.
Samo does have the Headhunter. Very, very strong, and both players for the Joker's side taking a little bit of damage. Get bullied on 14 HP. Just a tickle would kill this fade right now. Headhunter might be a bit of overkill, to be honest, as they do trade. Leica finds the headshot.
I was very aware where the last player's coming in from, holds towards that corner. Halsey to check the position. The headshot, however, doesn't connect, and Leica comes up with the triple. The Jokers will find their opening pistol.
Strong opener from Jokers is what you said they needed, Jay. And they've managed to get one. Can they make much more of it? And that's the real question, I think, in everyone's minds right now is, can Jokers pull off a strong attacker half, potentially open themselves up to a map 2 victory? You would bring out the Bulldog yet again, and it looks like we're really going to stick to the Headhunter. Not a lot of buying up from Gladius. So we've seen a few teams buy up, like loads of Sheriffs or a couple of Frenzies as well coming to these second rounds, but looks like they're going to want every piece of utility they can when they come into round number 3 with an opener.
Yeah, fact found. Starts up, Samo is caught for it. Halsey at the doorways. The Boombot trying to come in against them will at least be dealt with pretty effectively on the one individual. Are they aware of the second, though? Mercedes for that back turn. No, the wallbangs are attempted. They get the information down the kill for it, following up with the second player as well. And a 5-on-2 for the Joker's side.
Cam going to be going for the rotate, but really it's just not going to be particularly doable. I believe that is the only Sheriff on the side of Gladius, and it's unlikely to do much damage. A couple of kills will be nice for the Joker's team to secure, just to get a little bit of economic damage, like a farming up the money. Going to be taking out Mike, should be able to get Cam as well, and Jokers start off with a 2-0 lead over Gladius here on Haven.
Indeed, they are well placed, of course, for the Joker's side. Far better in their start by comparison to the last map already here, Hanno.
Yeah, that is certainly the case. We saw a bit of a struggle on Ascent to get onto. I think they were down 4-0 before they managed to secure their first round. So an early start, strong performance from Leica as well. 5-0 right now. The 1v1 clutch as well. Kind of a 1v2, but mostly a 1v1. It was a trade, really. Clutch in that first round, opening up the potential for this team to string 2 or 3 together. This is going to be a key round as well. Of course, if they can beat Gladius when they're rocking the stronger guns, that could be a good omen for what's to come.
Good pun. Like
Well, there's no omen in this game, so it didn't really work.
Oh well, it's in the game itself. 3 players spotted out. Halsey now looking out towards the outside. Will get caught by the fault line again, disappearing through the smoke. And tanking damage to the blind bullet spray. 8 points of health for him. Like to get the plant down. And Samuel comes in for the flank in from Garage now. Plant will come in. Yugen forcing forward. Flash top liner, but so is Samo. Cam core comes Mercedes. Goes back and forth with Ruler. Halsey now reduces it to 1 player on the Joker's side. 8 points of health though. Leica can get that trade pretty easy. Got to fight under the second player as well. Will also blind off vision through the smokes themselves. Mike, however, gets the kill as the defuse will be held and the Jokers will lose their first, but on a bonus round they can't be too fussed with what they did.
Team Ace.
Losing 3 players is not ideal. Of course, the economic damage that will have on Gladius is unfortunate. Not sure if they're going to be able to get up all the utility and the guns that they need. Whereas on the other side, of course, Jokers, as you say, that was just a bonus round. In fact, they've still got enough money to get a Ruler out of that Operator. Now, Operator on the offense, it can be a challenge to use. So let's have a look this round and see how Ruler is able to use it effectively. Because if you're going to have anyone rock the Operator, it's going to have to be the Chamber. It's not as viable on Jet anymore just because they only have, or their dash is less flexible. Samo with an early opener. Don't even need an Operator in their hands to secure kills.
Start-up has been found. Whole position here for the Gladius side. Jokers have lost their first and they'll be forced to slow things down to rethink the approach here. Back up away from long. Back into the back lines. They've got options to attack from because, again, the aggressive line for Gladius, it's only about towards the sites.
Very careful at the moment, Jokers. They don't want to lose another player, and it kind of, maybe that was a missed shot from Jugan. I don't know if that was meant to happen. Paint shots go onto the back off the site. It looks like they want to go in for an execute. They're kind of giving the game away a little bit early here. There's 3 players set up towards this peak position, though, to shut it down. Oh, Cam's so ready. And Mercedes as well. People everywhere with the utility out, ready to deny this push. And Jokers, I don't know, we're not sure what they're waiting for.
Mistake, hopefully, on the part of the Gladius. The Operator will fire back. Mercedes Peak holding the entry line in from the Garage side. Ruler trying to back up and re-aggress in towards Garage itself. This could get a little bit dicey, especially with Mike watching. Will get smoked off in the end. The Astral Star doing well. Pushing forward now, 13 seconds to the clock. Halsey will get caught to the back, but takes a spray down with support of Mike and all. Finding Ruler, there was only 1 trade on Cam, and just like that, it's left a Leica in the back of the B site, there to cut rotations and try and allow some decency, relieve the pressure against his team, against their teammates in the site itself. Now they're going to go hunting for the after-time kill, and it looks like Leica will just hold on to his life. But ultimately, a 2-all scoreline. Gladius have struck back.
Gladius on the comeback. It was too good to be true for Jokers to pull ahead this early in map 2. I'm going to say Leica's still doing well. 6 and 1. Cam's already got that Rolling Thunder up, so this only being round 5, I think Jokers got to be very careful about how much information they give away, and especially when they get into those afterplants, because that's one of the great things about Breach. Not only can you open up a site very, very well with that, the Rolling Thunder, when you're playing that retake, so effective at forcing all of those attackers to take some very awkward fights. How's he getting a little bit passive here, going to be backing off towards CT. They think it's going to be an execute. They've lost control of Garage. They have to abandon the site.
Samo wrapping around here to try and hold a defensive in the back lines. At Ruler there gets the kill. Halsey forced to trade it back to a 4-on-4. Sees the two lined up, but both players will peek in with the kills. Meanwhile, Rolling Thunder will force the offenders back, give Mike a decent chance to get the kill on Leica. Eugen now being known with the paint nade, sending him back out here. Mike touching out of dodge and just sealing control of that C-site defensive. A 2-on-2 situation. The Gladius have the deficit upon Jokers with high HP. One player tagged so low, however, on the Gladius side.
Player standing.
Gladius, even though their fade is incredibly low, it is technically a 2v1. Bullied. Going to be able to get the plant down with about 100 HP to their name. Both players going to be coming towards from this C-long position. Oh, I don't think Bullied is ready for it. Oh, they ult the complete wrong direction. That will give them a little bit of information about where these players are and should start to suspect that it will be a C-long to take, especially once these players get close.
That's the information at least. Taps up the likes of Mercedes. Peak straight shot down. Nade sent in. Bully could get caught with damage. And now Mike is on the defuse. Taps it once. Forces out the fight, but loses it anyway. Bully with a triple. The Jokers defend the lead.
Excellent work from Bully there. And yes, as you say, Jokers defending the league, keeping themselves above the water for now. You know, once you see them start to slip here on this Haven attacking side, I will start to worry for them. But as long as they can keep even and try and keep a little bit ahead, my dream is alive. Now, of course, we saw the Rolling Thunder have a huge effect at the start of that round when Cam dropped it towards the side. Wasn't enough on that C-side to pull out a victory, but now we can see the other side where the Jokers have got it up. And yet again, on this map, Rolling Thunder, one of the more effective ultimates that you can have up. You've got to play around it when you're going for these site defenses. Ruler with the opener.
They sent the Prowlers down there, but they haven't been aware of where Mike is. Taps all of the pistols. Glad Mercedes beat to get a kill in. However, two trades come back. 2 for 3 in the end. That favours the Joker's side. One player left in Halsey was there for the wraparound backstab. Ruler's already accounted for it, though. Kill gets found with a headshot easy. A 4th to the board of the Jokers. And Gladius, well, they tried a decent effort there, but with the pistols in play, just caught off with the multi-frags. The sprays were coming in easy for the Joker's side. And a timeout will be taken here by Leica of all teams. This is kind of confusing because the Jokers, they're currently in full control.
Yeah, putting themselves up by the bootstraps after, well, the thing I think that Jokers went into this series with is that kind of mindset that map 1 doesn't matter. We're not looking to win that ascent. You know, if they win it, that's great. But, you know, it wasn't a good scoreline from them the previous time, so they really have focused on preparing for this Haven. Maybe, you know, focus a little bit less last game. Give yourselves much more of a chance in this one. Play at the best you possibly can in Game 2. Because if you can win Haven, you know that you can win Bind. You've already taken your opposing number 2 OT before, and in OT, anything can happen. So if you can do that again, you might be able to clinch a win. So Jokers have got the mindset here that Haven is where it's important, and this is where they're putting out all the stops. 4-2 right now, and hopefully many more to come their way to make this into a real tight series. We've also got, as well as the Rolling Thunder, the Cosmic Divide is up on Leica, and I'm sure they've got plenty of interesting Cosmic Divides planned for us in Haven. Still waiting for the round to deliver that timeout. Always feels so long when you're watching it. When you're playing, Jay, it never feels long enough.
Oh no, it's never going to be enough when you're especially pushed back on the back foot. Unfortunately for the Jokers, that's not the case. Samo now leaning in, seeing the bullets firing back from the Jokers. Just firing warning shots right there, saying, oh, don't be too close, because otherwise we're going to take your head off. Might still be able to do so in the end. Eugen just going to wait, and Samo to hold his ground.
Playing these tight little angles, sometimes where your opponents are not really going to necessarily expect to clear those off angles, are a wonderful little spot. Eugen is making a lot of space. Mike is kind of on the angle, but dropping a boom bot. Might have been caught out. Samo in the perfect spot, able to teleport away, and Mike's found Eugen as well. 2 wonderful picks on opposite sides of the map to open up the round for Gladius.
Well, Ruler's come back into his own right though. Mike in with the showstopper,
so
doesn't
much
quite
damage.
connect it. However, it's a wombo combo also with the Rolling Thunder and the Nightfall. Where gets caught.
Mike.
Ruler goes down with a triple towards Mike. Makes it a quadra in the back line. And Gladius hold the C-site with sheer confidence.
And that's what we were talking about, wasn't it? Mike having a stellar game on Ascent, brought it over to Haven, still topping the scoreboard, 8-4-2 right now. I think they've already had 2 showstoppers out, and it's not even at the end of the first half yet. So brilliant usage so far from Mike.
Beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
Once again, the quadra, assisted by his teammates to his credit, because again,
Yes.
the Rolling Thunder and Nightfall rather, combination basically just threw them all back, gave the information as was appropriate, and then from there, it all starts to go the way of the Gladius side. Joker's already looking to dip into their ulti economy with a tour de force out from the chamber.
Joker's. Oh, the teleport in there. I think they managed to bait out that showstopper. I don't know if Samo planned that. I mean, whatever it was, they managed to get an ult out of the Jokers for absolutely free. That is value right there.
Oh, 100%. They'll be happy with that. I think they might be somewhat aware of it. And now they know that they've completely cleared out the garage position because the window's defended. They've got no vision into it, no suppression there. Put the TPs back up as Mercedes looks to put some further utility down. The C's in hand. Where do they go with it, though? It's going to be careful in placement. Defensive line to hold the satchel. Coming in for you. Going to try to force them back. And they will put it out towards that main entrance. Won't quite catch anybody, though.
A site, they have got a couple of players towards it for Gladius. They haven't really gone for any long control so far. And after that initial pick last round where Samo was playing close up on the A short, they're not playing there either. Wary that it might be something the Jokers try and lock down an early pick in. And Gladius have got the read. They've rotated a third player over on towards A as the Nebula go out. Joker's trying to run on in and Cam finds first blood.
We've got the Cosmic Divine out towards the entryways where the attacking side can hold for it. It doesn't stop them from getting the kills though, like a Bully and Ruler. Instantly win with the frags. Halsey on rotation, back in from the back line. Also got a teammate in the chamber. Samo with all the work in the world to do in the initial retake hold, but seems like the first kill will come out towards that long position in for Leica's part. Halsey will take the player down, so a far advantage turns the way of the Jokers, but continues to hold it just a single player. Samo looking up and over, swing in, Halsey burst fire. Now where is Nomad? Sorry, Samo. 3 players looking onto his position. Just a continuous face out. We'll try to look for the headshots. The tour de force won't get the final blow, but where will?
Jokers keep their lead. And if they can keep this up, they might be able to end this off something like 7-5, which would be a good sign for this team, especially after, you know, technically they've played Gladius 3 maps in a row. Or not, well, not 3 maps in a row, but the last 3 maps against Gladius have been all losses. And they've got to turn around with a miracle here on Haven. Gladius doesn't really have that strong of economy at this point. And in fact, the best they're going to rock up here with is a Guardian. Plenty of Sheriffs in hand as well. Paint shells will find nada. And Jugan, jump spotting as well. Trying to get a little bit of garage control. Very key here on Haven to get a little bit of control in garage, or at least force your opponents out of garage. Deny them that info, because if you're going to be hitting B or C, you've got to have at least a little bit of that garage presence. Absolutely everyone has completely abandoned A for the side of the Gladius. They're trying to go for a gamble towards these B and C sites. And Jokers might just fall for it.
Set in for Samo, caught up by Bully. Frag found to start off this round. The Jokers have their control. Again, they'll send themselves out, the Haunts and the Prowlers, trying to force the issue back as Bully will start to use the Nightfall, set themselves up into the site. But the information will be gathered up here by the attacking side. Yugen's going to get caught stunned for a little bit. Mike insert himself in towards the garage position, and Ware's going to catch both of them with the lineup. Easy pick as the pistols fall. Jokers have the 5-on-2.
Yeah, Ware in the perfect position there. It's not checked. And a quick double kill. Jokers looking almost like a different team, really. They've been really coordinated on these site takes. And Gladius so far hasn't been able to stop it too well, or it's been at least inconsistent. Especially with how few buys Gladius have been able to get out so far in the last 8 rounds as they fight and fall one by one. A flawless round for Jokers, and their economy is going to be thanking them for that. very, very strong there. You can see where it's actually on 9k, Jay. They're only in a 3-round lead, and yet they have 9k. Ruler not far behind, 7.2. The rest of them comfortably over 3,000 credits. I don't know what the conversion rate is to Great British Pounds, but I think they're rich.
I mean, possibly.
How many credits do you think is a pound?
10,000.
10,000?
Yeah. I mean, technically they're worthless because there is no way you can exchange the credits in game for pounds. So, I don't know.
So they're not rich. They're still as rich or as poor as when they started the event.
Yep.
Wow.
Well,
you've taught me something today.
Minus the entry fee.
Oh, minus the entry fee. Sorry, guys. Yeah, but despite that, Jokers, you know, doing well right now. 6 and 3 up after a rather sad tale on Ascent, and they're playing it quite passive here. I like this. Again, we've seen a lot of passive defaults over the course today as we keep talking about it, but it's nice to see. Oftentimes you see teams towards the end of the day just getting sick of things and just wanting to go in and end it, but no, they're playing it smart, they're playing it safe. Again, a lot on the line here today.
We've got Mike held out at long, Mercedes util in hand. Full toward the Bully's position, now receiving the Prowlers. Ash of Smoke also out. Mike so close to contact. That's crack angle that we've seen a couple times over the course of the weekend. Shot to the back of the head of Ruler, just doing the wall bang. The Satchel will come out, force them back. Try catch on a Yugen, but just can't find the burst of the headshots. So the Jokers will start off the round again. Mercedes peak could be in for an early peak as well. Ruler can get caught for it with the assistance of the Aftershock as well. Yugen puts out the horn and now starts the execution into the site. They will catch off Mercedes. Calm, however, gets a kill. Does so much damage to the two players behind him. And Halsey can punish that. Deny the spike. Look for the second. Hold down the round itself. Jokers left with Leica. 5 seconds on the rotate. 2 quick kills going to come in so fast. If they hide behind harder cover, they should be more than fine. But Samuel will get the kill instead. And Gladius will finally strike back with a 4th round.
Now that is perfect. Halsey just hiding at the back of the site, so aware of the time running down and able to, first of all, take down the spike planter, take down their teammate, and leave 1 player left on the Joker side. Desperate, I think, Leica in that 4v1 to find, in that 2v1 to find anything, a single kill at least, to try and get that spike down. Just not going to be possible with the time constraints that were on them. But look at Jokers now, Jay. They don't look like they're going to be playing passive at all. This is a C stack. This is a C rush if I've ever seen one. They're going to probably smoke up towards long, and then Jugan's gone. That's their entry.
Samuel going to dip in for a little bit more. In fact, might even look above it. Catching Ruler next up. Double up alongside the Rolling Thunder coming down from the attacking side. Bully can get Mike and drive the operator out of the way. The Prowler doesn't do much in that particular case as Halsey comes up with 2 of his own. Leica and Bully caught off where. Now going to spike out in the open. So many players to find. Isolates the first 2 kills, but has 30 HP to get the next 2 in this one. And Samo's looking around. Another Rolling Thunder, this time with the defensive line. Gives Samo the perfect headshot. The triple in with the Headhunter. And another round for the Gladius side, catching up to Jokers as we look into the last round of the half.
So much great utility from Cam there, but it's Halsey and Samo. Halsey with 2, Samo with 3 that secure a brilliant round. And as you say, going to the last round of the half, Jokers might be about to lose their lead again. You know, they've held on to it for a while. They did equalize a couple of times, but 6 and 6. I mean, I wouldn't say that's a very enticing scoreline for me, especially when you're coming off the attack, you're moving on to the defense. The arguably harder side here of Haven, that's not the best look for Jokers. I'm starting to doubt my 2-1 prediction, Jay. I'm starting to worry.
Mercedes falling back, Yugen a charge forward. Of course, the paint shell sent over. They have got the information as well towards that one individual. It was the Horton that caught them off, or the Prowler that caught off the information. Samo. Tour de force in hand. Mercedes pushing forward to the smokes. Yugen's going to get caught. Mike with the kill. Mercedes with the follow-up. Ruler there with the trade back. And there comes a showstopper that I thought caught 2. It only caught 1. Cam caught the other one. And it's Leica in to clutch it once again. We'll put the Astral Stars up as well as the Cosmic Divide. Try and stop them from making their way forward. Press the issue. Leica is a known entity and ultimately a dead one at that. 6-all to the board. Gladius will hold it down at the defensive line and again try and make it as close as is possible. Dead set even as we go to their attacking half.
They've got mirrored comps. They've got mirrored scores. Surely something's got to give eventually, you know. There's got to be some kind of a breakthrough here. This has been a pretty tight game so far. Will Jokers better keep up that level of play going on to the defense? It's hard to tell, and well, all to play for, of course. Pressure really starting to mount on the Jokers. If they do lose this map, that is the series, the tournament, over for them. And they will be, I mean, it's not a bad placing to come in third, but when there is the potential for so much more, it's going to be a sad time. If they can clutch this one out, they'll still have to play a third map, that in the form of Bind, and potentially have a chance to make their way to the finals tomorrow. Very early openers here as Ruler and Mike both find respective kills.
Info gained on 2 individuals, backed up towards that long control. Bully knows plenty of great info that they can play with. Meanwhile, the headhunter for Ruler is put down, of Summer rather, is put down by the headhunter of Ruler. Flag on from the Joker's side, 1 trade back against the Gladius camp, a 4 versus 3 as a result back. Pain shells thrown over. The Spike will commit towards the C site.
Spike is going to get down. Mike is spotted towards the back of this site. Cam taking a fight, but somehow wins it. Completely out in the open, will finally get shut down.
Halsey held back to the back corner as Mike gets caught with the wallbang. Headshot perfect, headed against the first player. Swing back, got to isolate a second, but struggles against it, and Leica gets the trade for the Jokers that kick things off in the defensive half with a pistol win.
Beautiful diffuse going on in there, and Jokers, I believe they won both pistols here, so early starts to their halves are going well, which is always good to see in any team. We saw Rix early in the day struggling to win those pistols, and that's one of the things that held them back, I think, in that best 3 series, and why it did take the full 3 maps to finish that one off. Gladius, obviously, not going to be going for much here. Got a Sheriff yet again on Cam, confident that they can hit some shots, and we've seen some crazy rounds with just a Sheriff before, so absolutely expecting something similar to at least occur. Dugan early paint shells, yeah, not going to find anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, throwing it initially towards both that long and mid positions. Boom, but does. What? What did I just see there?
It looked at him and then went the complete other direction. I've not seen that
the Michael
before.
Jackson part, honestly feel like. What was that?
You've been hit
I've never seen anything like that. Okay, we'll take it. Happy to be on the front page of it a little bit later on this evening.
Wow, what smooth moves by the Boomer. Smooth moves.
Into the C site, we'll try and look for the spike plant. Shouldn't be much of anything to come down from the pistol basis. Again, less than half HP to try and hunt for this 1v3. And again, the automatics across the board. At least they get the spike plant, which is something to be credited with.
Cam could make it work though with the concussion.
1 headshot, caught up by fault line to counteract it. Another one to come through as well, actually with the aftershock. We'll force them around the other side. No damage to be done. Leica will catch off the trade. So in the end, it wasn't much that could have been done. So there we go.
I don't know if anyone saw that, but our observer just got a very insulting message.
Oh,
Zilf, you absolute troll.
I love it. Shout out to Zilf.
We love
Shout
Zilf.
out to Zilf. Someone clip that moment and send
Poor
it to
Salty
him.
J. Poor Salty J. Salty J, wow. I mean, wow.
That round truly had it all,
That had it all. That had comedy, great moments, and almost clutch from where, I mean, we couldn't have asked. Sorry, from Cam. We couldn't have asked for more. That was absolutely beautiful. But Jokers, 2 rounds up. Let's get back in the game. Focus up, Jay. Two rounds back for Jokers, so they're keeping up their lead despite them swapping sides onto the defense here. And Gladius not yet able to secure a round on the attack.
Samo holding back passive, expecting there to be some sort of defensive aggression. That's exactly what's coming through for the Joker's side. Mike bursts through. Doesn't quite fully commit towards the C site take, though. Just up towards Garage and back into the mid presence.
Yeah, another one of those passive defaults. Just going to wait around, see what they can find. They are starting to investigate towards this Garage area. There's nothing in terms of utility down in that area for Jokers, just bullied. Trying to see if they can find anything. Samo wins the duel into the opposite number. Ruler will be dropped. Gladius with an opening into this round. Jokers going to start feeling the pressure as there are a player down the map with 3 bomb sites. Much harder to spread your player base out.
Like a perfect timing on the push forward. Samo was holding that position for the entire time, hoping to catch players off with the aggression and eventually turn away on aggression of his own right. The plant will be secured here towards the A site, and the retake will be coming in pretty quickly here. 3 players pushed into the back line. The 4th man also inbound from the back side. The backstab to come through. Actually rotates away from mid, goes in towards the B player, now joins up with the main Joker's Falls here. The Pistols will try and fight fire with fire. Aftershock in from both sides, keeping players suppressed in the dark. Mercedes holding a line. Mike sprays through. Yugen and Bully get those trades, but Mercedes comes back with 2 more of his own. 2 versus 2 situation. Also will look for the information back with the Horn, but as Yugen drops, it's all left to Bully in the 1 versus 2. Getting some decent damage to be done. Even finding Mercedes. Going back to the automatic and onto the spike. Will tap it once. Try force Halsey out. He knows that he's just got to hold the line here. Hold the time. Get his kill. Get his rounds.
That shot looked shockingly close to Halsey's head, but I don't even believe there would have been time there. And Gladius start to close that gap, and they also have that rolling thunder up. Should be a simple sight take if they can get into position to use it. As Prey, this breach knows where to go. Jokers right now, they do have a bye. Their economy is not looking too great if they do lose. In fact, both teams really kind of broke if they lose this round. And Gladius not even opting in to buy here. They're not going to try and force at all. They're going to prefer to save that gun on, well, I think it was Halsey, wasn't it? And then just see what they can do next round.
Headhunter leaning in for this round here for Samo's part. Got the smokes out as standard. Of course, Gladius' victory. Set in with the regular guns out. The pistols in play for the attacking side. The Jokers playing carefully against these pistol bases, and held down for Ruler's operator. Will be hunting for these individuals. Slow walk in. Shot connects. Frag has been found.
And that's another opening for the Joker's side. Big advantage, of course. Get bullied. Get a little bit of a tag off, but there's 2 players there. Mercedes not ready for the both of them. Cam and Mike already in very full positions on B, but at such a 2-man advantage, it's going to be difficult to do. Halsey takes a huge amount of damage to satchel through. Mike can't find the kill. Finally does to trade their teammate.
Mike's been marked though by the defensive Nightfall. Might run into a defensive player. Indeed, can't hear, can't see anything. They can see exactly where he is though, and they'll give the chase down for the Joker's side. Got to isolate each individual headshot. Spike not even with him, so they know that they're just wasting time at this stage. The Jokers will look for number 9.
Looking a lot stronger here on Haven, of course. Sent, we keep alluding to it, but it just didn't look quite right from the Joker's side. And I'm loving to see how well the Jokers are playing here on Haven. They just seem to be having a lot more of a coordinated and a lot more structured time. It feels like they know exactly how to respond to a lot of the scenarios that Gladius is putting them in. And that's something that maybe they didn't quite have over on Ascent. Ruler going to have that operator out, of course. Does have the option to bring out the Tour de Force if they want. I've seen people before use Tour de Force in a round where they already have an operator. I don't see the point in it. But,
I mean, we saw that in the last round of the last half.
If it's the last round.
But yeah, that's the only situation where I can see it being justifiable.
Because the Tour de Force is better,
like,
statistically.
Obviously. But you only have 5 bullets in it, so just use those 5 bullets and switch the operator when
5 kills?
Out. Yeah.
I mean,
at least in theory, assuming you don't miss your shots. But
well, yeah, I mean, these players never miss, Jay.
Of course, yeah.
Exactly.
You're right, Hannah. Well done. Oh, here we go. Once again, the combination of the ultis working well for the attacking side. 2-for-1 trades will come through as Ware did catch Mike, but Leica falls in turn. Mercedes Peak now leaning in, looking for Ware, who gets the triple. There's also a showstopper out from the defensive line that will look out for the remaining Gladius' players.
Where did he
come from? And they just can't even find a way forward here. They're suppressed back out of the side. Now Samo's been caught, and Gladius felt like they had the perfect execution. They were wrong.
It looked like they were going to get a free couple of kills towards the back of that seaside, but it was not happening. That's so much investment as well. And if they can't pick up that round, they don't want to get those ults back for a while. And they really need to make sure they can, because investing that much into a round, not losing it, and Jokers being potentially on the double digits, this is dangerous territory. Jugan investigating with the rest of their team. All of the Jokers sticking together. And I think they believe that Gladius has gone towards A, but they are thinking it wrong. Jay, as Samo and Halsey over towards this season will start to get the plant down. That spike has been planted. Looks like they want to head in towards this garage position. They're going to run into Ware, who's already had some brilliant impact on this round. Let's see if Ware can do much more.
Apparently not. Halsey immediately in with that frag. Now 2 players left creeping in from long. Halsey's going to see them both. They're also going to get caught off by the Haunt. Of course, the spray's through. Both players will peek. Halsey with a triple, but Bully going to hold it. Now got to try and get both the kills, but only gets the one for it. Samo, instant response, holds the round down for the attacking squad.
Much needed round there for Gladius. Not only do they get the operator up on another couple of their the ultimates up on another couple of their players, they also didn't invest all of that utility in vain during that round to try and secure that C site, as Halsey and Samo pulling off a great 2v3 at the end there to secure themselves round number 8 for well, not round number 8, but their 8th round. Yet again, we do see them stacking up outside bomb site. This time it's going to be A. No passive side from them today, as that's so fast from Mike.
Both sides bring out their tour de forces. Bully leaning in as Mike tries to find the angle here with the battle. Once again, Nightfall brought out by the attacking side. They're also going to put the Haunts in alongside the Aftershocks being placed up as well. Showstopper in for Mike, gets Bully. All important frag. Now looks in past the smoke, gets Yugen next as well. Completely blind without the info. Oh, the triple against Ruler. The headshots are so perfect. And Mike might look even a little bit more.
I don't believe either of these players wants to give Mike anything else here.
We'll see whether they do. Will they get challenged? Will they get forced out? Doesn't look likely. Doesn't look like he's going to push the issue either.
Yeah. Oh, I love this spot.
Look for the exit frags. Don't bother with the push. Don't bother with the retake, because there is no chance in hell. Gladius overwhelming. Again, the ultimate combination, sending chaos into the center of the A site, and this time it's the attackers that come out on top.
And Gladius will be very happy to even up the scoreline at this point. It's getting a bit worrying when they were down 9-7 and Joker's almost picked up that round number 17. They're in a position, 3v2. If they'd won that, Joker's would potentially be at double digits, just 3 rounds off closing the game. But after a brilliant clutch there in that 2v3 and then following up with another very fast, very oppressive round where Mike just finds 3 and shuts Jokers out of the round, it's exactly what you want to see from this Gladius side. And Jokers, feeling on the back foot, they've called a timeout.
Right time to do so for my money. We're entering the closing stages of this map up. Dead set even heat, 9 apiece. Both sides have gone blow for blow as of right now. No definitive favourite. No squad has an advantage. Neither team looks like they're going to hold control over this as of right now.
One thing
and
to
for
note,
the Jokers especially, right, the idea that they could concede in this particular case right now, being down by map already in this series, they cannot afford to let this closeness get back to them.
I think Jokers, obviously they saved 2 guns out of the previous round, but they're not able to buy up the rest of their teammates' guns in this round because of how limited their economy is, Jay. So really, I think they're using that timeout to call out some strategies for how they're going to secure a round with, and still allow themselves to buy next round in case they lose. Because losing here, putting themselves down 10-9, and then potentially having to eco, I don't know, it's not worth forcing around these 2 guns at this point. They'd rather go down 10-9 and be able to buy than do the same without it. Very passive start from Gladius. Big change from what we've seen in the last 2 rounds. But Bullied getting very aggressive. Halsey is on the angle. Just to find a couple. Oh, I think they did see a gap of a player.
So many players flying up for Halsey. All falling apart. Bully, however, and Ware keeping the trades going with the Sheriff on the triple. Samo forced to respond to a 1v1, and Leica knows exactly where he is. The perfect headshot for them. The Jokers somehow, some way defend the lead. That tactical was everything to them.
What is it today about teams on Haven and losing anti-ecos? Cannot understand it, but what a performance. I think that was Bullied there going just insane on another level to perform there. I think that's a triple kill for Bullied, and then Leica to close it off in the 1v1. That was perfect. But yeah, Jokers stay ahead.
Unbelievable stuff from their veteran of Leica. quick charge forward again for Mike, already trying to get any engagements in for the Gladius side. How tense could you get? Already the Cosmic Divide indicating there's going to be a very early hit coming in. The nade sent back as Mike gets the opening kill. The double up's also found, so perfect. And they're all suppressed behind this Cosmic Divide. There's no rotation potential. The Jokers, they're already out of there.
They're gone. They would rather go down 10-10, keep the guns alive, and give themselves a shot in round 21. That is how close this game is turning out to be, and how much is at stake here that they're going to choose to save with 3 players completely losing the A site. They do not want to go in for a retake there. There's too much risk, Jay, and I, for one, agree with them. When the pressure is on and mounting this high, you've got to have some concessions like this.
10 all to the board. Gladius so quick to the hit, so fast to the execution. Wasting no time, taking no prisoners, and taking us to evens once again. Was 9-9 2 rounds ago, now 10-10. As we stand with the last 4 rounds of regulation to play overtime. Looking like it might be likely. Samo will go for the hunts to take even more players out on Ruler's part. Bully with a tray, but Mercedes goes in for the kill. Leica, no, in the middle of that smoke, sprays through, doing damage. No kill. They barely stay alive.
I think they're starting to regret trying to save all 3 guns. I think just saving 1 into the next round, the amount of economy that they lose off that 1 player saving, just, you know, Leica. Yeah. Oh, actually, no, Leica's fine with the money. I think maybe they chose to save that round because they realized that some of those players had money anyway. Leica, despite having to rebuy a bit of utility this round, still has about 5k, can maybe buy a couple of sheriffs to their teammates, and going to the next round being able to buy, which is very, very key, of course. There's only about 4 rounds left in regulation time. Oh my god, the damage onto Yugen. Mike's so aggressive right now. I think he still managed to get the orb.
Regardless, Bully caught off first. They're all slowed out to the position. Leica forced to stand and fight to 1 point of HP, though, you're right. Forced back in the end. The plant will come down towards the C site, and of course the Jokers just so far out of position. Mostly focusing on trying to do some damage above getting the round itself. There's no way they can do it now. Prowler's being sent out. Samo falls back in just to ensure that they hold dominion over the spike and over the site. Given no chance for a Joker's retake here.
I think at some point the Jokers do have to decide to go for it, and because they don't have much in the way of guns, they're going to do it now. Bullied with 1. We've seen beautiful stuff from him before.
They won't do it again. Surely they won't do it again. Time's ticking. They'll make their way in. Mercedes to the box close. Yugen's going to get caught for it. Cosmic Divide brought in by the defensive forces. They can still stick the spike defuse right here, but Mike peeks in against them. Gets the double up. Nades out as well. Leica on the defuse will not last against Cam. Mike there with the triple. Holds it down. Gladius have the lead. The Jokers, they might be in trouble.
Brilliant stuff from Gladius. They've kind of been a little bit on the back foot up until the last of the 3 or 4 rounds where they've taken the lead, I think, for the first time in this map. And again, they've already come off a map 1 win. This could be very close to Gladius securing the win here on Haven, especially with how well the last of the 5 rounds. They've won 4 the last 5 rounds. So far on the offense, I think they're 5 out of the last 8 rounds. Doing decently well, but is that going to be enough to carry on through? Still need at least 2 more rounds to pull off a victory.
Like a saying in the stars.
Blocking vision.
Jump spotting there, try and see what's towards him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see anything, but again, those players could be lurking behind those corners. Really hard to get any solid info. Just know that you need to rotate anyone just yet. Both like stars towards, I think, that B side, prepared in case of some kind of a pop.
See them leaning in towards the operator's position though. Ruler be watching and waiting, hoping for contact against his position. If he gets that kill, that'd be fantastic to start things off. But look at how passive Gladius are here. They're only just starting now to take presence in the long control of the entire front line force, forcing Ruler out with the fault line. Perfect TP out of there. And now the showstopper in for Mike, inbound from the defensive line. They'll wait for utility to get them into the site itself. No one's going to be out here, so the best they can do is fight towards heaven, hope for the best, and get nothing.
And no one going to be playing in heaven when they hear that showstopper. They know that's the default place. Oh, look at that. Instantly, the Nightfall and everything.
Oh, they've seen them all. Mike catching 1. Can't quite get the 2nd or the 3rd. Actually, he does get 2 in the end. The spike plant will be secured. Where with a trade will make sure that Gladius are in the advanced position. Cam looking to swing. Sees Bully and gets that kill alongside Samo's 2. And Gladius have full control. 12-10. It is map and match point right here. One more to go before they secure the semi-finals.
Jokers, they had plenty of utility there. They dropped the Rolling Thunder. They dropped absolutely everything on towards that retake, but they weren't able to pull it off. They got completely shut down the moment they walked in. I'm not sure if the Rolling Thunder actually hit the players towards the back of that A site. And Jay, it is looking like Gladius might be our second team to make it into the grand finals.
Yeah, likely. I want to say very likely at this stage.
Not
2
much
rounds
from Jokers
to bring back from them. No ultis involved. They will get one back in on the showstopper here. Tour de Force already brought out for the Gladius side. Leica baiting in the shot, already knows that it is in play and that they have that presence on the scene on control.
Where are you?
Again, we see Gladius being kind of given this garage position. Jokers don't really want to fight for it. It's been so rare that we've seen them really contest this, try and play outside of it. I don't know if Jokers are happy with any kind of aggressive defense, but Mercedes with 2, completely blind on the second, and surely that's it for Jokers.
Well, they storm the C site once again. Leica in with a Spectre gets one, but Mercedes with the triple holds it down. Ruler now next to lean in, needs that backup to get here so quickly, but he's going to go on his lonesome. See the one individual, the Tour de Force to Stamo strikes, and now it's all left to one. The showstopper inbound from Eugen, no idea where to fire, can catch one, not get the kill though. Halsey is there to close it as the Jokers are caught crashing out of the lower bracket. Gladius will make their way into the grand finals of EPIC36.
Jokers, I think they had a play in mind, picking that Haven, you know, trying to change it up. Maybe they can beat Gladius on the Haven and then have a rematch on that bind to see if they can pull it out. But no, yet again, they will fall 2-0. I will say, Haven looked pretty close. There was a few rounds there that I think Gladius should have picked up. It maybe shouldn't have been as close as it was, but props to Jokers for bringing it that close. And huge congratulations to Gladius, again performing a 2-0. And they'll be playing a rematch against Rix GG in the Epic Grand Final, playing for those 200 beacon points.
Indeed, yes. A lot of fun times ahead of them, and of course the opportunity to get some revenge from that upper bracket final for the Gladius side. I genuinely believe that the Jokers would surmount them and be able to overcome that semi-final loss, but ultimately in the lower bracket finals, history repeated itself for the second time, except this time a little bit more one-sided without the overtime, to the credit of the Joker side. And that's a little bit of a shame, because again, we saw them going far. We had them down as the team that, well, of the last 3 that were left in the tournament, had the best chance of going to those grand finals. Very clearly we assessed them wrong here, Hanno.
Yeah, I think... again, you play that matchup. So it's unfortunate. We've seen that matchup played twice today. Both times been a 2-0. I don't think that necessarily represents how close the teams are matched. Again, they both made it to the lower bracket finals. They're both very, very strong teams in their own regard. It's just that I believe potentially it might be Joker's map pool isn't strong enough, because the fact they've had to pick, they've let us sent through basically in both of these bans means that there's clearly another map they're even less comfortable playing into Gladius there. So there's something going on there, and unfortunately Jokers will fall today. But I mean, still, 3rd place, very strong performance from them.
Absolutely, 100 beacon points as well for them, so not even that bad in terms of the circuit itself. What they will do is get control of their situation and continue to move their way into that final tournament and that final beacons event. But here at Epicland, we have one final match for you tomorrow in the rematch between Gladius and Rix GG. This is going to be a battle that you do not want to miss, so make sure you're following all the channels and social medias, of course, for tomorrow's action, which I believe kicks off at midday.
Midday, it is.
UK time BST, so make sure you're tuning in for all that action. Hanno, any thoughts on that matchup? How do you think it's going to go down?
Well, the Rix GG one, well, I mean, to be fair, Rix have looked incredibly strong. They came in, I think we all considered them the favourites. One thing I want to note just quickly is how impressed I was with their Neon usage when we saw that on Bind. So that's a map that I think a lot of teams really don't want to go into. So they look scary, they sound scary, and they've knocked everyone else down, right? They're the last team that's completely unbeaten. They've lost a couple of maps here and there, so a defeat is doable. But I'm pretty confident that Rix GG will be our champions of the Epic LAN.
I'm with you there on that one. I think Rix GG will be taking tomorrow's grand final trophy, and with that, the LAN itself. But again, that's all to come for you tomorrow. For tonight, we are all done. So on behalf of myself, the Eternal J, my co-commentator Hanno, our other commentators in Rook and John P, as well as the production staff and admins behind the scenes at Epic LAN, I want to thank you so much for watching and for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow for the grand finals of EPIC36. Make sure you don't miss it.